I've been around this Capitol building since about 5 o'clock this morning, and you've seen a lot of state troopers here in the area decked out. You can see some of them behind me right here. This is the south entrance of the state Capitol building. Got to watch you guys do this morning. This is the cool fun part. So you can see all of them getting mixed up, nice and good. Breaking news, one of the governor's top priority bills fell short just a few hours ago after state Democrats staged a quiet walkout on the House floor. Critics say the restrictive voter bill would have made it harder for many to vote, specifically people of color. The bill would have reduced polling hours, restricted voting by mail options, and scaled back local options like drive-through voting. It's College Station Police updating us on the situation at the 100 block of Luther Street. Let me walk you real quick through what all we just learned from College Station Police. This started around 9:50, 10 a.m. this morning when police were called out to a dispute. And when they got there, police say a man shot at the officer and ran into an apartment that did not belong to him. Yeah. Good reminder that, boy, it's a time for sunscreen for sure every time you're stepping outside.
And I know who is going to be the one to remind us, and that is Josh Ninke.
That is right. Josh Ninke.
Got to set that timer. It's the only way you remember.
Sets the reapply timer.
Two officers say they're just doing their job, but here you can see them run up to the engulfed truck before they smash out the window. Takes them a minute to do it too. One of the biggest changes that people are going to notice, ordinarily, you know, folks can walk in and watch all of this happen, but unfortunately, because of the way things have to be this year, the building is going to be much more restricted to the public. You can't just walk in, can't just go and watch these lawmakers in session. Hey, Kathleen, let me tell you, this house is so impressive. I know you got to be out here last time, so I was a little bit jealous. Now it's my turn. Let me show you guys around a little bit, some of the things that I've been most impressed by. And first off, I want to mention, you have a chance to check out this home this weekend at the Parade of Homes here. It's even more dramatic if we take a closer look at College Station. There are 70% fewer homes on the market and an increase of 80% when we look at closings. Newly released body cam video shows the end of the mass shooting at a San Jose rail yard on May 26. But a warning, the following could be disturbing for some viewers. Now, 3 shots can be heard on this deputy's body camera video. Here in just a second, you'll hear the first, and they'll take off running. The sheriff says this first bullet appears to have gone through the window. And then after that, you can hear 2 gunshots very close together. Authorities say those were 2 self-inflicted gunshots that killed Cassidy in that next room. Congressman, looking at these plans, what specifically would you like to see as some sort of compromise between the GOP version and what the president is proposing? And keeping an eye all morning long on the state of Texas and more specifically the Brazos Valley. Texas-wide, we're seeing the numbers go up on outages, about 3 million customer outages across the entire state.
The Bonfire Memorial on Texas A&M's campus is a special place, but as the campus continues to grow, how is the university planning to keep it that way?
News 3's Josh Ninke talked to university officials about the future of the memorial.
It doesn't matter what time of day you visit the Bonfire Memorial. It's a quiet, sacred place. I went to the site with A&M's VP of Student Affairs, Danny Pugh, and we spoke softly, without even realizing it, about the memorial on the university's doorstep.
When I always talk about that spirit never been told, well, they actually tell it a lot. And it's told through the story and history of Bonfire. And so, you know, being able to preserve that here, recognizing that it really is sort of hallowed ground. It's sacred ground here for Texas A&M University and the 500,000 plus former students who've crossed through here.
For nearly a century, the students of Texas A&M University participated in Bonfire.
The site was dedicated in 2004, 5 years after the tragedy. Each Aggie killed that day is memorialized with their own portal pointed in the direction of their hometown. And the path to the site features a cut in the marble for every year the bonfire burned. But growth from College Station and the university is creeping in on that hallowed ground. It now sits in the shadow of what will soon be a new parking garage with cranes and crews working.
One of the next steps as well as we see the growth, which is great for Bryan College Station University, is also the original design had trees that surrounded the ring here. And so the next piece is to really bring that vegetation buffer back that'll help on the sight lines and the sound.
A renovation this year added new LED lights and upgraded paths to make the site more accessible. It's all part of the latest master plan.
One of the blessings is when we look at a campus master plan, we just rolled out a new master plan in 2017, and you can see the buffer zone around this and how we want to maintain the preservation of it as well as direct people towards it.
And that quiet dignity stands for generations to come at Texas and University, a circle of calm in a constantly changing Aggie land. At Texas A&M, Josh Ninke, News 3.
If you are looking to sell your home in BCS, now is the time to do it. But if you're on the other side, get ready for a lot of competition. News 3's Josh Ninke takes a look at one couple's journey to find a home and why it's so hard right now.
Sold. Sold. See the signs all over College Station. Even if you see a home that's available.
Very frustrating.
A lot of sleepless nights waiting to find out if offers were accepted.
Taylor Tyson and Richard Knapp have been house hunting for 2 months. One factor that's making it hard for the newly married couple? A really low supply. Amy DeBose with the BCS Association of Realtors says for the last year, our market has just been off.
Right now, they're at about 1.4 months of inventory. So that means if not a single listing came on the market, how long would your market last? And 1.4 months is really not that long. A balanced market is 6.5 months.
Another factor working against our couple? They're first-time home buyers. They've been outbid on 3 separate homes, including one that went for $15,000 more than their best offer and even covered the closing costs.
Our friends kind of know right now that that's been taking precedent and, that it's a big part of our lives.
Homes like these are cropping up all over the BCS area, but they're not staying on the market very long. According to the BCS Association of Realtors, they're on the market 2 weeks less than they were 1 year ago. It's even more dramatic if we take a closer look at College Station. There are 70% fewer homes on the market and an increase of 80% when we look at closings. DeBose says one factor that could be driving this market is an increase in remote work, so people can set up wherever they like. She says usually there's an influx of Texas A&M alums, but now we're seeing more people from states like California and New York.
I'm from Michigan originally, and he's from North Carolina. We came here for jobs, and we've kind of created a home here, and we've created a family of friends. And so we know this is where we want to stay and build a home for a while.
Summer's going to be tough because it'll be very competitive here still, but as we kind of get through the summer, we're hopeful maybe it'll kind of restore itself back into a more normal range, especially for the months of inventory that's available.
Her best advice for buyers? Have your paperwork in order and ready to go, and listen to your realtor. In College Station, Josh Ninke, News 3.
Although it is spring now, winter is coming this weekend.
The HBO series Game of Thrones begins its final season Sunday, and we've got a close connection to the show here in Aggieland. News 3's Josh Ninke got a behind-the-scenes look at the author's archives on the Texas A&M campus. There are only 6 more episodes of Game of Thrones, but the stories and so much more will live on at Texas A&M's Cushing Library. The university is the official archives of author George R.R. Martin, and he's had a very busy career.
He's an important writer, he's a significant writer, let alone, he's not just a popular writer, but what he writes is actually, I think, important for the genre. So it's a privilege for us to have it.
Jeremy Brett is the curator of the science fiction and fantasy collection at the Cushing Library. That means he oversees everything that Martin has handed over since 1993. The most requested items for patrons to see? The swords.
I believe this is Longclaw. This is John's sword.
Yeah.
So, the one that is made of Valyrian steel.
Not to mention Joffrey's Widow's Wail, Brienne's Oathkeeper, and Arya's Needle. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So these boxes are all Martin's manuscripts and correspondence and screenplays that he's written.
Martin sends about a box or two of stuff every month, unlike most authors who send that much once every year or two. You can find the books published in just about every language.
Spanish, Mexican Spanish and Castilian Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, French.
Buried in the thousands and thousands of pages are several particularly interesting drafts alongside one of Martin's hats. You can find one of the original copies of the first book and even an original pilot for the show that was shot but never made the light of day.
This is an example of what, like as I said before, the thing that people love, this is what the thing was that became that.
Even though we're close to saying goodbye to these characters on our TVs, all you have to do to take a trip through Martin's Westeros is make an appointment at the library. At Texas A&M, Josh Ninke, News 3.